All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lord Owen, and I do have Loyalist with me, but he's having problems due to the weather, getting a solid connection with me, so he may or may not be popping in from time to time. It just depends upon what I'm looking at down here with my StreamYard. But, guys, it is the Indianapolis Colts bye week. It is week 14, and we already got a gift by the Pittsburgh Steelers by losing last night, right? The Steelers losing to the Minnesota Vikings boosted the Colts to the 8th seed in the playoffs, and we are going to discuss the games I believe that Colts fans need to be keeping an eye on and who to root for in order for the Colts to take that next leap into the seeding, right? Don't even have to play this week and can actually move up in the rankings. That is something impressive. Guys, please smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time I go live or upload a video. Brandon Wood, Chaz A, Fuzzy Whistler, what's up, guys? Go Horse, what's up? Appreciate each and every one of you. Let's get into it, guys, because as you saw with the thumbnail, there are 6 games that are very, very important to the Indianapolis Colts this week. And I'm going to go over each and every one of them. I'm going to go over all the games, really. And we're going to discuss what's most important for the Indianapolis Colts. Right now, as it sits at the AFC, you got the New England Patriots sitting atop first seed at 9-4. Then you have the Titans at 8-4, the Ravens at 8-4, and the Chiefs at 8-4. Those are all your divisional leaders right now. That's your first 4 seeds. Then, in the wild card spots, you have the Chargers, the Bengals, and the Bills all sitting at 7-5. Now, the Indianapolis Colts sitting right there in the 8th seed at 7-6, which means, guess what? If the Bills lose to Tampa, we're guaranteed in because we got the head-to-head matchup with the Buffalo Bills. So that is a game that is most impressive that the Colts need to keep an eye on. As I look through this, other games that there are available, and welcome Loyalist, he finally is able to join us back. Appreciate you there coming back in. Other games we need to keep, huh?
I just want, everything all right? Looking okay now?
Yeah, everything's great.
All right. Sorry about that, guys.
So we went through the first 8 seeds, the Colts, being at the 8th seed now that the Pittsburgh lost last night to the Minnesota Vikings. We went through the first 7 seeds and the 5th, 6th, and 7th seed all being sitting at 7-5. If they lose, then they're tied with the Colts, and the Bills already have that head-to-head matchup with the Bills and beat them. And the Bills are traveling, I think, right? Are they traveling or are they hosting? Hold on, let me look here and here. They are traveling. It's a 4:25 game to Tampa. That's a game to watch. That is the number 1 game for the Indianapolis Colts to watch when it comes to getting into the playoff seeding. Do you think the Bills have a shot at beating Tampa Bay?
The Bills is one of those teams. Is it going to be the Bills that we saw against us or in the Patriots, or is it going to be the Bills that we saw earlier in the season? But I really feel like the Tampa Bay offense is just too well-rounded, too dynamic, and this. I mean, Leonard Fournette is just going to, those cracks that were exposed by Jonathan Taylor earlier in the season. Leonard Fournette's going to sit there and say, "Oh, I know how to do that. I've seen it done."
1 o'clock game that the Colts will be going, that Colts fans will be watching closely is the Ravens traveling to Cleveland. Now, as we know, the Ravens head their division at 8-4, and the Browns are 6-6. That is an important game to watch because, well, if the Browns win, then that's just another tough situation for the Indianapolis Colts. We don't want the Browns to win that game, do we?
Mm-mm. No, I mean, but now, there's the only divisional leader that I want to get beat. That's Tennessee Titans. I mean, well, and of course the Patriots this coming following week because it's us. But yeah, I mean, the rest, like you said, keep that middle tier, just muddy it up, and if the division winners take off, then so be it.
Another 4:00 game that starts off at 4:00 rather than 4:25 is the Giants heading to the Chargers. Now the Giants, not many people are giving them much of a chance going to Los Angeles to face the 7-5 Chargers. We need the Chargers to lose, but Daniel Jones, this offensive line has not looked good at times, and the defense for that Giants team, man, they're Heckle and Hyde. Heckle and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde. I'll get it right one of these days. All right. One game they're looking like one of the best defenses in football, and the next game they look atrocious. Chargers, again, one of those teams. Do you think the Giants and the Chargers, what are you looking for in this outcome?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the side of, hey, go Giants. Saquon Barkley have a game of the year. But there again, keeping it reasonable expectations and stuff. I do think that's going to be a tough one to go in the way of the Colts and Giants' way. There we go.
Yeah, I doubt the Giants win that game. Not with the issues that they're having right now. Another 4:00 game that we're going to be watching because the Lions have been coming on of late. All right, the Lions have been coming on as of late. They just won their first game of the year. They tied Pittsburgh earlier in the year. But yeah, do they really have a shot against the 6-6 Broncos?
Yes, I do. I like what I've been seeing from Detroit. I mean, they've been in a lot of their games. And Denver. For me, I feel like Denver's more of a smoke and mirrors type of team. I'm not seeing them in this playoff race. Like you might have thought 3 weeks ago.
The Niners, 6-6 Niners, the same Niners we beat in San Francisco, face a questionable team with the Bengals. I mean, one game they look great, another game they don't look so great, but the Niners are healthy, and they have been on a tear ever since the Colts tore them a new one in San Francisco. We need the Bengals to lose this game for them to drop to 7-6. Do the Niners have a shot at doing that?
Not only do they have a shot, I think I do believe that this is the one that has the best chance of going in our favor. You know what I mean? No knock to Joe Burrow, but seeing that handling, I mean, that thing's looking pretty difficult to operate from a quarterback stalling hand and stuff. And then, like you said, the San Francisco 49ers team, yes, I know we're the same logo and stuff, but it's not the same team that we met, a few weeks back. I mean, Kittle's back and healthy. They're like the Colts, I mean, they're starting to get a little bit healthier and stuff. And now, they're able to play their style of football, that more smash mouth, we're going to be out physical type football.
Absolutely. I think the San Francisco Niners, I really do think that the 49ers have a real shot now that they're healthy, now that they got Kittle, and their identity back. Their identity as a team is back. And as you said, Joe Burrow's got that finger issue. Fingers have messed up quarterbacks like 3 or 4 different times this year, right? Beginning of the year, Russell Wilson had that, was it a thumb, I think? Or was it just a finger? I can't remember.
No, it was a finger.
Yeah. The finger's been messing up quarterbacks all season. So there's plenty of games to watch this week. Now, obviously, there's no reason to watch when it comes to the AFC. The Sunday night football game and the Monday night football game has nothing to do with the AFC race. It's the Bears versus the Packers and the Rams versus the Cardinals. But here's something for you. We beat the Rams, we lost to the Rams, and we still play the Cardinals. Would you want the Rams to beat the Cardinals and set them back a notch? Or do you think that might make them a little bit angry to play tougher down the stretch when we play them in a couple weeks?
I mean, I don't that whole game to game thing. I really don't see that this game would have that much effect. Now next week, like when we're playing the Patriots, and I'm not even sure who their opponent is. Now that game, I'm more worried about. Hey, are we going to have a stirred up hornet's nest type of offensive attack from Kyler Murray, or are we going to just have this? Maybe that if they beat the Rams and they turn around and win the following week, maybe they come in a little overconfident, overlooking the Colts. Hey, I'll take anything that works out in our favor.
Absolutely. I did miss one game. Actually, two games.
Go Jags.
there's a couple 1 o'clock games we need to talk about, right? One of them, very important. We got the Kansas City Chiefs, division leader, 8-4, hosting that 6-6 Raiders team that we also play later on in the year. And the Raiders have been up and down as well all year. They've been showing some 1 minute, Carr and that passing attack looks unstoppable, or that defense looks great, and then the next minute, complete opposite. And yet the Chiefs have been on a tear ever since week 4. What are you looking for at this game?
Well, I mean, this is one of those games that, whoever wins is fine with me, because with the Colts, they hold, we play the Raiders. So, we have that head-to-head victory whenever we get done beating them. Like you said, the Chiefs have been playing really good ball. So do we want the Chiefs to just win, and maybe the Raiders will have less to play for by the time we get there, or what? Or do we want the Chiefs to fall back a little bit, muddy up that AFC race a little bit more? Me, I'm more leaning on the side of what I expect to happen. So I think the Chiefs, like you said, they've been playing a lot better ball after the first 3 or 4 weeks, like the Colts did. They've really seemed to find their identity, their rhythm, and everything's clicking for them. So with saying that, I think that the Chiefs are going to win that game and just put more, solidify that, their division leadership.
You mentioned it earlier. Yes, the Raiders are 6-6. If they go into Arrowhead and defeat the Chiefs, they will tie the Indianapolis Colts at 7-6. But as you said, here in a few weeks, we will be matching up with them and get our chance to get the head-to-head over them. And quite frankly, we can't afford to lose an AFC game anyhow this year. So we need to defeat them one way or another, whether we're tied with them or whether they're behind us. I personally would like to see the Raiders defeat the Chiefs, and like you said, muddy that up a little bit more, because bringing them down a little bit would actually help us in the long haul. Who knows? We could see another, crash of the Chiefs in the last 4 weeks of the season. But, I mean, this defense for the Chiefs has looked pretty darn good as of late. The last 1 o'clock game that I want to talk about, and you said it earlier, go Jacksonville! All right. The 2-10 Jacksonville Jaguars travel to the AFC South division leader, the Tennessee Titans, who are sitting at 8-4. The Titans, on the other hand, they started the season off strong. They've swept the Colts. Swept them. We need the Titans to lose 3 minimum of the last games of the year. Do the Jaguars really even have a shot, though?
Well, any given Sunday, But in all honesty, this Titans team has had some. I just don't know where to put this team. I mean, we sat there and they started experiencing injuries and stuff, and then they turned around and they beat the Bills. They turned around and they beat. But they were just win after win, where you're like, man, okay, this team. They're not experiencing that fall off after the injuries. But now, over the last 2-3 weeks, it's been an absolute nightmare for them. You know what I mean? And they got beat by, the Texans. I mean, did you guys see that offense last week? How did that team beat the Tennessee Titans? So to sit there and ask me if the Jaguars have a chance, heck yeah, they do. And this is one of those games that if the Jags beat the Titans, then that puts more onus on. No, then I really want the Chiefs to lose that game, because now we're starting to look, hey, division champ. You know what I mean? Now we're starting to worry about who gets home field advantage and stuff. Yeah, bring the Chiefs back. Bring everybody back.
I don't know if we'll. I mean, division champs, yes. Conference champs, I think, is a little bit out of our door right now, being that the Patriots are sitting at 9-4. The Patriots would have to lose the rest of the games, starting with Indy next week. I honestly don't think that's going to happen. But
no, but we could get in that second slot or something over the Chiefs.
Get some home field advantage. At least have home field through that wild card round, right? That would be really nice. Exactly. Guys, I want to shout out some people that's been in here, shouting out in our chat here. Master Blast is in here. Y Sway as well is in here. Joe561, of course. Video Boss, what's up? And Dan0505. Delusional Patch Fan is in here as well. Says Jags have a shot at they lock every entrance to the stadium for 4 hours straight. Hell, it is what it is. Honestly, the Jags offensively have a shot, in my opinion, against the Titans, because the Titans, all their offensive weapons are just gone. They're hurt.
Yeah.
They're beat up. The Jags have a shot. If the Jags could find a way of putting 24 on the board against this Titans team, I feel like they win this game. I really do. Just don't be the Patriots and let Hilliard and Foreman run for 250 freaking yards on you, okay? Delusional Pats fans sitting down there saying 9-4 with some shades. I get that you beat them. But they still ran that much on you in a loss. That'd be worrisome if I was a Patriots fan. But hey, man, I'm excited. I know it's a week that I don't have to go, chewing my nails waiting because I know, that the Colts don't have to play this week. So it's just up to other teams. It's completely out of the Colts' hands right now. But the odds that the Colts can jump up into a wild card spot and not even have to play, man, that's awesome. That puts the Colts in a nice spot.
And then going back to this Jags game, I mean, we sat there and we talked about, okay, we beat Buffalo, and then they started hearing footsteps, and they started looking over their shoulder and seeing the Patriots right on there. I mean, doesn't this pretty much put the Titans in a similar position? Now if they were to lose to the Jags, all of a sudden now that whole division race is looking a little more iffy. And does it rush back? Do they rush back a Derrick Henry a little sooner than they should, or one of their studs and stuff to try to stem the tide? And because, like you said, honestly, I think if the Titans can scratch out 2 wins out of their next 5 games, it's done deal. They're the AFC South champs. But, there again, crazier things have happened, and we all seen it. We've seen 0-3 first 3 games for us. If you don't have your soldiers, if you don't have your key guys, it's hard to win.
Absolutely, it absolutely is. So, of the 1 o'clock games, Loyalist, we got in the 1 o'clock matchups. Let me get up here again. Between the Jags and Titans, the Raiders, the Chiefs, and the Ravens at the Browns, which game would you be watching for the 1 o'clock?
I'm like I said, I'm really very interested to see what the Jags-Titans game is about, because I can't stop asking myself after playing this Texans team last week, where are the Titans in this thing? Are they really that lost? Are they really that? Are they really on what Coach Venturi called the death spiral? Is this where this Titans team is? I'm just really interested to see, and I think that this game will give us a lot, to see where they're, what type of pattern are they in trying to get into the playoffs.
I'm in a spot right now where I'm like, we've already played the Titans twice. We'll never play them again unless it's in the playoffs. I want to see someone that is fighting for the playoffs and that we play later on. So I'm going to be looking at the Raiders and Chiefs game, mainly because, we do play the Raiders. If the Raiders win, then they're tied with us for that, divisional race. and you said, like I said, it drops the Chiefs a game and muddies that up. So that is the game that I personally will be watching, because the Titans-Jaguars game is just kind of out of the Colts' hands completely. Mid game, the second game, we got Lions at Broncos, San Francisco at the Bengals, Buffalo at Buccaneers. Which one you watching?
San Francisco against the Bengals, because that is a team that I really feel like as far as the playoff standings go, I feel like we're really close. And if you look at the schedules and stuff, and what you sort of, predict might happen, I mean, I can see it really coming down to tiebreakers and stuff with the Bengals and between us and the Bengals.
I'll tell you what, that is a very, very interesting game. It's probably going to be one of the better games to watch at the 4 o'clock. But the Buffalo Bills at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we played them both. We started the Bills like major downslide. Not really. Because the Jaguars actually started that. And then the Colts just embarrassed them. And then New England beat them. New England didn't embarrass them the way the Colts did, though. The Colts blew them out of the water, literally, because of all the rain that was coming down. And then New England came in and just ran it down. Took exactly what the Colts did and used it. Just ran down their throats. And did so more so because they were like, you know what? Mac Jones is only going to throw it 3 times. If the Bills walk out of this 3 losses in a row, they automatically get dropped out of the playoff picture, and the Colts take their spot. And that is a huge difference in what we saw 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, the Bills was sitting on top of their division, king of the mountain, king of the entire AFC, right? And now the Colts have a shot to leapfrog them into the playoffs, and I think that's the game that I want to see.
Yeah, and you said that you talked about, I mean, like the Colts, I felt like that game, the Buffalo Bill players got it first, okay? But then you look at the Patriots game and the way that game was played out, I mean, I felt like that was more of the coaching staff got embarrassed because, I mean, to me, you can't sit there and only have to defend against 3 pass plays and you still can't stop the team from beating you. That just screams that your coaches did not perform. I mean, yeah, to a point, it's players, but after a certain point, it's like, what are these coaches doing? So, yeah, like you said, this team is, I mean, they've had a couple legs taken out of their stability and where they thought, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, I thought Buffalo was going to be much higher in the playoff standings and stuff whenever everything shook out. Heck, I thought they were going to be one of the top 1 or 2 teams. So there again, this team has underperformed, and their fan base is really, I mean, they're really in that. Is this really all fake? Is this team, I mean, part of them. I mean, you hear drastic things from, get the coach out of here, tear it down, rebuild it. I mean, these guys are really salty. So, I mean, I think that the Bills have a lot to lose if they don't at least have a good showing against the Super Bowl champs.
Ninkowski, my boy, dropped $9 in the tip jar to even out my editing software at $150. Congratulations. Thank you so much. He says we are on a bye and will come out of it as a playoff spot holder. # for the shoe. Amen. A freaking man. Guys, we're 23 minutes in, and I finally get to say, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time we go live or upload a video. And don't forget, so many things like Gorgian did right here. You could donate right there, right below here at the top of the description of this video. You could use that link just the way he did. And don't forget, there's lots of other links down there. You could buy DeForest Buckner. That's right. Or Jonathan Taylor or Carson Wentz or I don't know. Who's your favorite player in the NFL? Is it Ben Roethlisberger? Go get yourself a Ben Roethlisberger thing. All right. Get yourself one of these with Ben Roethlisberger on it. All right. I just said that for one specific person that's out there in the chat, and he knows who it is. And I'm going to get a bunch of middle fingers in the chat here in a second, but it's okay.
Hey, let's be honest. That's about the only Ben Roethlisberger he wants to be seeing.
Hey, they almost did they almost did it again though. They almost did it. If it wasn't for Claypool's celebratory first down at the last moment, I'm sure I will hear about that later on as well. But it is what it is. Guys, go get yourself some great stuff for your walls and things like that from the Backroom Collection. And don't forget to use my promo code to get a discount, and it helps put money in my pocket as well. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted, and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. And ladies and gentlemen,
And the best part about going to Backroom Collections is you can get DeForest Buckner, and it won't cost you $21 million a year.
That's right, $21 million. Whew, boy, you are expensive, but you're well worth it. Well worth it. Well worth it.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Hey, you want me to be a little bit honest with you? I'll tell you what. Here's a little honesty. Use the link in the description to go download Newsbreak, because every time someone uses that link and downloads and gives me a follow on Newsbreak, it's free. It puts money in our pocket, directly into our pocket. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. Shout out to a few people in the chat. King Cracker jumps in. Just plain folks, what's up? Appreciate you guys being here. No, you did not miss the show. You only missed about a half an hour of it. Thornburg, Joe, what's up, guys? Says, yeah, the Bills game holds more weight for the Colts than any other game this week. And absolutely it does. It absolutely does. Guys, we've come to the part of the show where we get to sit down and just chat with you in the chat. We done discussed everything that we wanted to get over and talk about, and I appreciate that. Plain Folks says, hey, it's good to see you live. You know what? I ain't seen you in here live in a while. I appreciate you having the time to come in and say hi and hang out with us. It really means a lot. So I want to know from you guys, all of you, what games are you going to be? Now, if you got 15 TVs and you got all of them on at the same time, don't tell me all of them. Which one are you paying the most attention to this week? Which games are you going to be sitting down and be like, I want to watch this 100%? I want to see that in the chat right now whenever you get a moment. Vidboss says, do you think we re-sign Zach Pascal? I think we do. I honestly think we do. I know a lot of people are like, well, he hasn't been getting the catches and blah, blah. Zach Pascal has been actually pretty good, okay? From the film that I'm seeing, he's getting open, but Wentz is throwing to other people at the time, okay? And Pascal's blocking cannot be underestimated, right? Just straight up. No, he doesn't have the top-end speed the way Doolin does, but he is maybe our best, second best route runner. I'd say T.Y. is our best route runner. But just his physicality and stuff, that's a big situation. I don't think Zach's going to get paid monster money. I don't think he's getting paid the $8 million that some places are expecting of him, but I think they will. So we got some stuff in here. Chaz A says he is watching the Titans game. I completely understand that. Lone Revolver in here says Niners and Bengals. I think that's the game that you're talking about watching, right, Loyalist?
Absolutely, yeah. That one, I think, just from entertainment. I mean, because, the Giants, yeah, you want them to win, but are you going in really expecting even a good game, even if they are winning? Yeah, I do think that Niners Bengals game could be interesting because, I mean, if Joe Burrow can't throw the ball and they have to hand it off, and try to play Colts ball, I mean, I don't see it happening at all. San Francisco is just going to eat that alive, and they're gonna double down on the run game. So yeah, I'm super hyped for that.
Ninkowski says he's going to watch the KC game, Tampa, and then Green Bay. That sounds like a whole list of things to be busy for on a Sunday. Sway says Bills versus Bucks because Wentz and Josh are my favorite players. They're my two favorite quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Kind of have to say Wentz because he's the Colts quarterback. I mean, it is what it is. But I am a huge fan of Josh Allen. Joe says Bucks Bills for sure. Well, yeah, that's probably going to be a game that I will be watching on our Discord when it comes up. Let's see here. Video Boss says Chiefs and Raiders. That's an important game. Like I said, that's probably the 1:00 game that I'll be watching.
Yeah, and I think in that rivalry, I mean that Chiefs rivalry or that Chiefs Raider rivalry game always seems to bear fruit.
McChicken says the game he's looking forward to is the Army-Navy game. There you go. That's not on Sunday. That's next Saturday at 8 p.m. The Army-Navy game. Next Saturday, 8 p.m. Only they're going to be wearing a little different colors. You're going to have blue and white versus the gold and red, white, and blue, right? Just Plain Folk says, what does Taylor have to do to win the MVP? I think we need to win 10-plus games, make the playoffs, and that he keeps pace on what he's on already. Have another 200-yard game to finish it off. Yeah, I think that he needs to get close to 2,000 yards rushing, but not necessarily get 2,000. If he gets high on the scrimmage yards, I think that'll help. Obviously, the Colts have to make the playoffs for him to have any kind of shot at an MVP. Any kind of shot at all.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And JT is just, I honestly think if he stays on track, because there hasn't been a quarterback for me that has stepped out. Now, yeah, maybe one of these guys, maybe Aaron Rodgers gets super hot and lights it up for the next 5 games. But, you got to give the guy a chance. I know it's a quarterback-driven league and all that, but, man, JT is just he's in rarefied air. And I just feel like that the quarterbacks this year, none of them have gotten to that rarefied air.
If you guys haven't watched, I did a film breakdown for that. It's on my channel. I did it yesterday. It's called "The Patriots Ain't Stopping Jonathan Taylor." Go check it out. McChicken, I think it went right over his head. He says, "No, the Army-Navy game is tomorrow at 3." The Colts-Patriots game next Saturday at 8 o'clock is going to be very similar, I think, in how it's played to what the Army-Navy game is going to look like. That's what I was saying. Just letting you know. Okay, Lone Revolver says Mixon will have to ball out on that game in order to win. And, well, yeah, I can't disagree with that at all. Skylar and Kirsten, what's up? He says they're looking forward to the Bills, Chargers, and Bengals games. See what happens, whether or not we slide to the 7th or 6th spot on our bye. It is possible we could reach the 6th spot in the playoffs and not even play a game. That's absolutely fantastic. That's you couldn't ask for more than that, right? Have a week off and move up in the charts. I'll take that every day, all day.
Absolutely.
Weissway says he thinks that Tom Brady has the MVP lock this year. I don't, because yes, Tom has done well, but he's not at that level that we was seeing from last year, right? Like, there's a situation there. I get that it's a quarterback-driven award though, and that is what might keep Jonathan Taylor from getting it. But when you look at like number wise, I honestly believe that Jonathan Taylor still has a shot, depending upon how he does, how Brady does, and how Aaron Rodgers does, because Aaron Rodgers is doing really well as well. Skylar says just got in, so I'm sure you talked about that already. I did. We talked about that the first 20 minutes. We talked about all the games. McChicken says, I keep forgetting those games on Saturday. I feel dumb. Don't feel dumb. You think that's bad? Okay, the Colts play on a Saturday the next 2 times they play, okay? They play on Saturday prime time the next 2 games they play. First they play against the Patriots next Saturday, and then the Saturday after that they play against the Cardinals on Christmas. So, it is what it is. Plain Folks says Hard Knocks will help Taylor in the MVP race. Do you think that will have some kind of effect on his race?
I hope so. I honestly think that just any public notoriety, and JT's been getting, nationally he's even been getting some love, But I think, some of the people that it help out was, like the Kenny Morris, in the Pro Bowl voting and stuff. I really hope, seeing him highlighted and some of the things that, people get to see that, a lot of people don't even know, all they know is, Colts are the team that we never want to see in the playoffs. They don't know much. Peyton Manning's not there, so I don't know much about that team. So I do think that just the national publicity, I don't know what type of leadership or following that they have, but any little bit helps, right? And I love the way that this team's being portrayed on the Hard Knocks. It's not nearly as gimmicky as I guess I was sort of thinking, because I've never seen it. So I was a little worried about that. And like I said, I love the shows, and I think the light that it puts on the team is only going to help.
Well, here's the thing also I think that'll help mostly is them continuing to perform well in their primetime games. Like I said, they got 2 primetime games coming up to go along with some of the primetime games that they've already played and won in this year. They had 5 primetime games this year. 5. And are hosting 2. They hadn't hosted a primetime game in 4 years, and they get to host 2 this year. That is freaking fantastic. If they win these next 2 weeks, I think that will boost Jonathan Taylor even more. But granted, that's a tall task to win two weeks in a row against the Patriots and then the Cardinals. That's going to be a tough ask. But if it happens, I think that boosts Jonathan Taylor's chance of winning the MVP a lot more.
Yeah, especially with these two games, like you said, being that Saturday and just sort of stand out during the holidays when a lot of people that don't even really follow football may get to see a little bit of it.
Yep. YFN Trey's in here, says Titans fan would be so mad if Jonathan Taylor won the MVP before Henry. Because they felt like, Henry deserved it. I felt like he deserved it, but there was a couple quarterbacks that had outstanding seasons last year, and that's what kept him out. But as we talked about, it's situational, right? This year, the quarterbacks aren't nearly doing as well as what they were doing last year. And Jonathan Taylor legitimately already has more touchdowns than Henry had all of last year. Has a higher yards per carry than Henry has ever had. And right now is like, I think he's 1 game away from beating what Derrick Henry had scrimmage yards. If he could get 200 yards against the Patriots, that he'll beat Henry's scrimmage yards. I think that's a lock for any Patriots fans.
Oh, yeah, by the way, he's got a few hundred yards worth of receiving that you didn't get from Henry either.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That scrimmage yards. He's got a lot of scrimmage yards to go along with that. But yeah, it has a lot to do with circumstance at that time. Yes, Titans fans will be mad if Jonathan Taylor wins the MVP, but the situation is just completely different. Completely different. Brandon Wood says Taylor winning MVP at 22 years old. Would that be the youngest MVP ever? I don't know. That's a good question. I'll have to look that up sometime. Actually, I can look that up right now. Give me just a moment here. Youngest NFL MVP in history.
This is what our Discord and our Patreon like, Brandon or myself or something will ask a question, and then we'll sit there and just talk about, something else while Law sits there and digs up all the answers for us.
Yes, it would make him the youngest MVP in NFL history. The current youngest was Lamar Jackson at 23 years and 25 days old. So, yes, if he won it, he would be the youngest in NFL history to ever win it. Guys, Joe says that they'll never give it to him. He could have 3,000 yards from scrimmage and 30 touchdowns and still give it to a quarterback. Yeah, at this point, I'm almost with you on there, Joe. They'll probably give it to Ben Roethlisberger before they gave it to Jonathan Taylor.
All of a sudden, we have one less subscriber.
I know, right? I'm just busting your balls, man. I'm sorry, dude. But no, in effect, that's how it feels. That no matter what, a running back or a wide receiver or a defensive player does, it goes to a quarterback. And he just hit me back right there in the chat, and I deserved it. I'm glad you see. There you go. I can take it as well as I can give it, my guy. Appreciate you. But yeah, it sucks, man, because MVP is supposed to be like the most valuable player, right? And I get that quarterbacks are important, but what Derrick Henry did last season, that was most valuable player awardish. What Jonathan Taylor's doing this year, that's most valuable player awardish, right? I mean, that's compared to what the quarterbacks are doing right now. Yes, the quarterback's the most important position, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the most valuable player on that team at that point, right? If Jonathan Taylor was doing what he was doing on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, would Jonathan Taylor be at the MVP, or would it be Tom Brady? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I understand. And like you said, this offense, I can't imagine this offense trying to be operated, without, a Jonathan Taylor to sit there and to set that tone and to set that mindset. And I mean, the Colts want to sit there and say they're a physical team. JT is just the epitome of that.
Yeah, I believe so too. Kurt Jeffers, what's up, guy? Appreciate you being in here. I'm going to take a moment to say smash the like button and hit subscribe if you guys are not subscribed yet. He has a good question. How many yards will JT have by the end of the season? What's your prediction? Jordan Kennernick says the same thing. Do you think that he'll reach 2,000 yards rushing? Huh?
Let's see. I think that we're going to be fine against the Cardinals. I don't. That Jags defense, for some reason, JT, he's not 5 yards and a pot of dust against that defense. That's always a tough grind. Who else we got? We got the Patriots. I think there are yards to be gotten there, but I feel like that's going to be more of that, 6, 5, 3-yard runs, just consistent. I don't see them really allowing that. Maybe one big play, but a Belichick-led team, I just don't see a bunch of big exploding runs. Who else we got? Let's see. Who am I forgetting? Oh, the Raiders. Yeah, man. Yeah, see, and I like the Raiders defense more towards, being dynamic towards the pass rush than I do so yeah. I mean, what's he at now? 13 what?
Oh, rushing? He'll need he needs a chunk. Let me go look at it real quick. Jonathan Taylor stats. No, not how many times he was on Home Improvement.
I think JT is going to be able to get 100 yards in every game that we have, as long as we stay loyal to the run.
All right, so currently right now he has 1,348 yards rushing.
Yeah, I don't know. 2,000. That means that he's really lit up either the Cardinals or the Raiders for just, 200 plus yards. You know what I mean? To even get a sniff of 2,000. So that is because, like I said, I can see 115 yards against the Patriots. I can see 120 yards against the Jags. But man, that still leaves you with what, almost 400 yards still. I mean, that's a big ask.
He's almost guaranteed 2,000 from scrimmage because he's already got 1,700 from scrimmage and 18 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a shot that, he'll definitely get 2,000 from scrimmage, depending upon what happens. I think he does get it because we have this bye week. The offensive line's already healthy. It's the healthiest it's been all year. They get a week off to get even more healthier. And then, they play the Patriots at home with that healthy offensive line. I think we get a shot at doing something there. See, I'm a little opposite of you. I think it's going to be a lot of feast or famine for Jonathan Taylor against the Patriots. I think we're going to see a bunch of runs where he's going to get, hit at or behind the line of scrimmage and maybe only gain a yard or two. But I think there's going to be plays where he's going to hit 15 to 30-yard runs as well, and maybe one or two that he could just break out and just take the distance. I really do believe that. That's part of my video, though. But at the same time, I think the Patriots have – I think flip that around. Same way with the Patriots. I think the Patriots, the same thing will happen where, they'll have a bunch of plays that will get stopped at or behind the line of scrimmage, but they'll have some other plays that will most likely break out for some yards on the run game. So that's going to be a very fun game to watch, really. Absolutely. But I think he can, but he does need that one more big 220 to 250 yard game, right? He's got a few of them already this year. But yeah, we'll hopefully he will.
Maybe he can close out against the Jags like he did last year. That'll go real nicely into that resume for that MVP.
Kurt Jeffers, how many touchdowns will he get by the end of the season? I think he'll have 23. I think he's awesome. On pace. He's on pace for 24. I think he'll get 23. That's just my prediction. But McChicken does have a good question here. It says, do the Colts ever run those 6 lineman jumbo sets like the Patriots have been doing? Haven't watched a lot of Colts games this year. I think you'll see a lot of jumbo sets out of McDaniels on Saturday. No, the Colts do occasionally, but only when it's like goal line, right? Every once in a while you'll see that. But generally, we just use our tight ends. We have such good blocking tight ends and wide receivers that we generally don't use those big jumbo sets. Because if we bring in a jumbo set, then there's another defensive lineman on the field. But if we bring in 2 receivers, 2 tight ends, and a running back, then you have to play base formation. You have to play base, and I will put our blockers against that any day, with what we have on the field. Excuse me. But that's how the Colts generally play.
Not to mention we haven't really been healthy enough on the offensive line to run some of those jumbo sets.
Yeah. Well, Ryan Kelly, he'll be back. Ryan Kelly just has that one. He's had 2 weeks to get over that ankle injury. What's up with those? Man, lower leg injuries have just been killing the Colts. Oh my goodness, all year long. That's why we're like
Ryan Kelly was COVID.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Kelly's COVID. Like Quentin Nelson's been dealing with the ankle injury.
Yeah.
Darius Leonard's been dealing with an ankle injury. Carson Wentz has dealt with multiple ankle injuries. Lower leg for Smith with a foot injury. It's just all these lower-legged foot injuries just been killing Indy.
Colts took the name football to a whole new level.
Yeah, McChicken wants to bring up the Jonas Gray game. Yeah, these are not the same teams.
I was gonna say, how's he doing for you this year?
Yeah, not. These are not the same teams, and honestly, Ramondre Stevenson is way better than Jonas Gray. But I'm looking in here. YFN Trey says JT. He says he's going to finish with 27 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. Holy crap! That would make him the all-time second highest, because if I remember right, LaDainian Tomlinson had 28 touchdowns rushing in a year in 06 when he won the MVP. It's something stupid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
If the Giants win, that would be nice. Inside the Horseshoe Podcast, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Nomadic Brian says, Lions, this is your time to shine.
Yeah.
It is absolutely.
Start stacking those games, Lions. Start stacking those games.
Okaya 12 says the Bills will be losing. That's how a lot of people believe it. Yep, McChicken and Brandon then verified me, said that yes, Tomlinson had 28 touchdowns in 06. Yep. So, it is what it is. Jordan says go Giants, Niners, Bucks, and Jags. All right.
So if JT breaks that, do you think that guarantees it?
Oh,
if
yeah.
JT says
If
he gets 29.
If Jonathan Taylor breaks the all-time touchdown leader record, yes. I think that guarantees him a MVP. That would.
I just
guarantee
didn't know
it.
with that extra game if they would water that down a little bit.
But Jesus, dude, that's like he'd have to score like over 3 touchdowns a game over the last 4 games. Okay, that is stupid. That is a lot. I get it. He scored 5 touchdowns in one game and averages like 2 a game. But come on, man. Averaging 3 over the last 4 games, that's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask.
Yeah, it is, especially whenever you have all these other talented players who are like, hey, don't forget about me. I got kids that need to eat too.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate each and every one of you. We've been sitting here for 52 minutes. I think it's about time for us to call it a day. Thank you, each and every one of you. Please smash the like button. We very much appreciate it. If you enjoyed this and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting on? Hit the subscribe. You're going to want to get notified, so hit that notification bell. Make sure all notifications are turned on. And share if you get a moment. I'd really appreciate it. Colts Cut, what's up? Appreciate you being in here. Guys, thank you so much for being in here. It was an honor for us to sit here and talk about the Colts and the NFL and Jonathan Taylor and Carson Wentz and everything else that you guys wanted to talk about. You make our day every time we sit here and talk because you guys come in here and make it fun for us. So thank you. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. And as usual, we want you to have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.